Well, this might be the best bit of business this window. Yes, people, welcome back to the Magpie Channel TV. We're back home now. No more Greg's coffees in the car, and we're ready to go through the third transfer video of the day. So if you haven't already, please do subscribe to the channel. As always, drop your thoughts below on this one, this mental breaking news that's coming out this afternoon regarding Newcastle United striker William Osula. We have somehow done the absolute business deal of the century. What a move this is. What a sale this is. Mike Ashley would be proud of this one. This is sensational. Oh my goodness. So obviously we spent, what was it, 10 million on William Osula last year. Barely played for us, hasn't really made an impact. He's on his way to Frankfurt in a deal for 30 million quid. Yeah, you heard me right. Yeah, I didn't make a mistake there. Yeah, I didn't get it wrong. Didn't get the numbers the wrong way around. It wasn't 3 million. It was 30 million pounds. It's not even euros. It's not rupees. Pounds. How have we done this? Who's in charge of this? Well done. Steve Nixon, Andy Howe. Well, you have recovered massively. Okay? Start of the window was appalling. Ooh, rejection FC and all that nonsense. But just in terms of missing out on targets, not moving fast enough, all the rest of it, this deadline day, it now looks like Johan Wissa is an absolute steal. 55 million for Wissa. 19 goals last season. 30 million for Osula. How many goals has he scored? 2 Premier League goals in the past season and a half. Well, season and a half's, a bit harsh. It was only 3 games in this one, but he scored against Liverpool this season. He scored against Ipswich last season, and that was it. Yeah, the lad struggled since he's came here to really make an impact. He's became a bit of a fan favourite, a bit of a cult hero in a way. Wouldn't probably go that far either, but in terms of, his celebration, he's dancing, he's crack, everyone likes him, bit of a laugh and all that. But as I said earlier in the video, when he was linked to Villa, and we'll get into that in a minute, because they did try and sign him too, it's not good enough, man. A laugh and a joke and all that, brilliant. We don't want Peter Kay in the dressing room. We're not here to hire comedians. We want strikers who score goals. Osula hasn't been able to do that, to be honest with you, so getting rid of him here for 30 million quid is remarkable business. It really, 30 million to Frankfurt over there in Germany. He was linked to Leverkusen, he was linked to a couple of Bundesliga clubs that were mentioned on the videos a couple of weeks ago. And to get this deal, this much money for him, is phenomenal. Honestly, man. And it includes a buyback clause, which I'm finally glad Newcastle are doing, because if Osula goes over there, does brilliantly, then great, bring him back. I've always wanted him to do well. Of course we have. But what I've seen it with my own eyes. On Saturday at Elm Road, not really good enough. But he needs game time. Eddie Howe said that. He needs game time, needs consistency. He's 22 now, nearly 23. He's the same age as when we signed Isak. And everyone goes on like he's some young raw talent, like he's really 15 like Max Dowman at Arsenal. He's nearly 23 years old, man. So if he's not doing it at Leeds, which, let's be real, nearly promoted side, then when's he going to do it? Unless he was just that impact sub player like he was against Liverpool. He did well, came off the bench, bit of a hassle, took his goal well, but that's not really the role that he's going to be wanting to play himself either, I suppose. He's going to want first team football. I think he needs it for his development, and we're getting a buyback clause in that deal as well. So, unbelievable transfer negotiations there by Newcastle United with Eintracht Frankfurt over William Osula. And with that buyback option, I'm very pleased with that, because I can't believe we didn't put one in for Elliot Anderson at Nottingham Forest, now of England, at the full men's national squad there this week in the qualifiers. Disgusting how we haven't got a buyback clause on Elliot Anderson. Could really do with him now, to be honest. Minter as well, doing decent at Brighton, no buyback clause on him. Didn't make any sense. At least we're learning lessons. At least we're getting Osula in. And you see other teams do this, when Man City, when Chelsea, their academy players go for huge money. You think, who the hell's that? I've not even heard of him. We're doing the same with Osula. FFP masterclass today by Newcastle. He's at 125 million. Yeah, it should have been more, but it's still huge money. And now 30 million for Osula. My days, this is going to sort us out big time going forward in the transfer window. Wish Osula all the best. Like I say, go to Bundesliga, mate, smash it, and we might bring you back on a buyback clause. Good luck. But it makes sense for Newcastle. However, does this open up the door for the last few hours of the deadline day to be even busier than we anticipated? Because now there's rumours flying around that Newcastle are going to go ahead and splash this cash. Obviously, 125 from Isak. We've bought Wissa for 55 million. He'll be announced this afternoon. Medical done there. He's going to take the number 9 shirt as well, by the way, Johan Wissa. There's reports that he drove up this morning. Obviously, we did the video earlier. There's reports saying he drove up this morning himself and he was already there, ready to go once he got given the green light, when he had green lights all the way through. And then there's other people saying he came here last night, so he's been bang up for it. He's been well up for the move, Johan Wissa. So that's going to go through our new number 9, and then Osula is leaving. Do we need another striker then? Yes, ideally, to be fair, because only 2 strikers at the club, Voltemada and Wissa, in a Champions League campaign. It's a big ask. You know, you'd ideally want one more. That's why I wouldn't have minded keeping Osula as a third choice to play in these cup games and stuff. But when 30 million comes knocking, you kind of turn that down. Like, you open the door and gladly welcome them in, because that is a lot of money for William Osula. It's a big profit for Newcastle as well for what they paid to Sheffield United last summer. So a fantastic bit of business there. Be really interesting to see if Newcastle do go into the market once more in the last few hours. Could we get another striker in? Could we go for that number 10? You know, could we go for a midfielder with Fratesi, with Kobe Mainoo being linked? Harvey Elliott's going to Aston Villa. We probably should have been on that, to be fair. Loan with a 35 million option. Speaking of Aston Villa, they also did have a fee agreed and a deal done with Newcastle regarding William Osula. If we get onto it here, I had it up before there. Yeah, Aston Villa agreed a deal for Osula, but the move was complicated by UEFA spending rules. So he was set to go to Villa, like we mentioned in the video earlier today. But because they're stricter in UEFA than the Premier League on FFP and PSR and all that crap, he's ended up going to Frankfurt, where I think, you know, with the Villa thing, what they're doing today, left, right and centre, Sancho and Harvey Elliott, it's a lot of loans with obligations. But getting them to Frankfurt for 30 million is by far the best outcome. But yeah, Wissa, picture there, arriving for his medical 4-year deal for him. Newcastle's new number 9, and now Osula on the way to Frankfurt, 30 million. So what, like a 20 million profit for him in the last year or so? Like, what was it, 10 million rising to 15 we bought him for? So great bit of business there for Newcastle on deadline day. More things to come, hopefully. There has been reports, like Craig Hope saying we're done, we may be done for incomings, but without outgoing, the big money coming from Osula, I think we've got to be looking at other options, man. Some clubs are making some good moves, specifically in the loan markets. Koulibaly to Spurs on loan. Things like that, could we be jumping in on? Could we be eyeing up a move for somebody else? Again, that midfield looks a bit light to me as well in terms of strength and depth if one of the big boys gets injured or suspended. With Champions League fixtures, we have to be serious with the depth. So who knows the next few hours what moves Newcastle United could make. So make sure you subscribe to the channel. We'll be bringing you all the updates as per usual. And we'll also be doing a live show at 6:30 this afternoon. So tune in for that one while we watch live the Windowed Slam Shut at 7 PM. Cheers for watching, everyone. Drop your thoughts below. See you in a bit.